Cape honeysuckle. Fall afternoons were still warm, hummingbirds feeding, and the Cape honeysuckle not yet shorn of its teardrop leaves and flames of orange flowers. Suddenly this morning, a freeze, the desert willow dropping its leaves. Not covered, the shrub will not survive. The sky has turned agate, more white than blue, dropped low and empty of sound and wings. All loss is final. Turning to the sun. My Shoshone friend tells me the most important thing I can do is to welcome the morning sun. Each thing in nature does. Ground squirrels face east for 20 minutes with their paws together. The birds sing to the morning. Even the wind celebrates, sashaying across the desert as a breeze. I can learn how to be grateful, not like the sunflower that follows the sun throughout the day, but as a tree that's been cold all night, then warms, turning to the sun when no one is looking. Desert millipedes. After a monsoon, nocturnal millipedes, exposed in daylight to beetles, lizards, and cars, seek decaying flowers and leaves to eat. Lifting each millipede on a stick, I watch them tuck in their heads and legs, protecting themselves. For 20 years, I've been trying to grieve for my brother. After his death, I tried to write a poem about running into an old friend of his who was off drugs and alcohol and doing well. About a young man in New York City collapsed in a doorway and seeing my brother's face in his and not being able to look away. About my brother's first day home from prison and how we stood tall and boastful in the shabby light of our parents' living room. About my brother as a boy who couldn't play with his toys without breaking them. About the phone calls that kept coming, asking for him, and I couldn't say he died from an overdose and lied. Like the millipedes, I would like to be driven out into the light to feel vulnerable, but can't. I think every reading needs a dog poem, so this is my dog poem. Jacqueline. You were a sad-looking dog, a howler with a bad leg I fostered for a rescue group. But you were perfect for me, a mama's girl, following me from room to room, touching the back of my calf with a paw until I turned around, hiding behind my skirt when you heard a loud noise. So I kept you, thinking no one else would understand you. I give you praise, speak sweetly, stop at shore to roll on the floor when you run around the couch, inviting me to play. Then pull your tired body into mine and kiss your snout. I give in and share a piece of string cheese you've lobbied for before eating your dinner. Everything you do is cute, even the bad behavior, and the simple silly makes me gentle. But when the coyotes gather in the wash and yip, you come and find me, and we howl, full throttle, the sound shrill and rough, singing freely the way children sing before they've been told not to. The Stellar's Jay. Ilka, a wilderness trekker who studies the meaning of bird calls, told me, if you want to learn about your energy and if you want to learn about yourself and how you carry your energy, walk into the forest and see how the birds react to you. In the cold, at the edge of the evergreens, a Stellar's jay pecking at a tree turns to look at me, sensing my sadness. Like the Stellar's jay that mimics the warbler's rapid, sweet, sweet, sweet musical feast of self, I too mimic a lively voice. I approach too quickly, and it flies away. I can still hear it in the distance, the lone and noisy Steller's jay, a thing of the dusk. How will I go with ease when my friend is dying? Turning on a dime. 4:05 a.m., a voice like my own saying, "Goodbye, Eleanor." Black spaces, then the sun trying to rise in the south, pushed out by wayward clouds. The bare Palo Verde bloomed. When? I'm somewhere doing something I don't want to be doing and walk into a door. If it's a message, it stings, my left eye pulsing. I am Gypsy Rose Lee, throwing a boa over my shoulder, saying, "I did it for you, Mama." Who coined the phrase, turning on a dime? My husband doesn't know either, but points out that a dime is smaller than a nickel or a penny, and imagine turning on that. It's a long way to walk, but there's a pretty Latino girl having her quinceañero in Embarcadero Park, ice blue ruffles, black hair in an updo. The troop of kids around her shuffle toward the Pacific. I begin to stir up a story about young lives, beauty not yet betrayed, but a kite is feeling the wind tugging at its string. Poor thing, caught in a tree, caught in a tree. Daylight, moonlight, nightlight, the screech owl flies, arc to the ground. Something dies. A pitch only dogs hear. Machines break. I rest, wrestling my own legs. Thoughts dissolving like a lozenge under a tongue. Slowly the mouth empties into darkness complete. Leaving the house, every living thing swaying. Rocks, roses, cactus,